want to document their teaching effectiveness. It's used a lot more in sort of the K-12 teacher training programs. I mean, I think almost all the teacher training programs now are requiring some sort of e-portfolio from their candidates before they can get their teaching certificate and so on. But I think more so in the higher ed, they are now starting to see e-portfolio as really a vehicle, as a tool that you can use to document effectiveness in teaching. The things that are included typically are like course material, samples of student work, various types of artifacts that you might use in your teaching. It can highlight your skills, your practices, and any kind of accomplishments. I think it's similar to how learning portfolios are increasingly more important for students post-college life. Teaching portfolios are now increasingly part of sort of the tenure and the academic review and professional development process. There are some schools which I know of that are now asking every faculty to have an e-portfolio that before they can as they prepare for tenure and review and so on. There's a great site by the Carnegie Foundation. They put together, it's called the Gallery of Teaching and Learning, and I think they administered grants to I don't know how many faculty throughout the United States and asked them to put together their teaching portfolio. And they have the whole sort of the collection here, and you can see, it's pretty, I mean, these teachers actually include both, I think, college as well as K-12, I believe. I think I saw one that was in high school. And it's, it's just a different purpose. They're trying to, let me just click on this one by Sherry Lincoln on interdisciplinarity, of course. And so she's a professor of English at Youngstown State University. You can see the things that she's included, her syllabus, course planning, data collection, so the things that I think it might be for her project or something like that. The incremental learning, this is where I think it's a particular pedagogical practice that she uses, and she's trying to show how that works and what kind of effectiveness that comes from that kind of practice. She also has things like what she hopes to do, like what are things that she wants to do next in her course, how does she want to improve in her teaching and so on. And then you can see other things like acknowledgments and so on. So I think it definitely both for students and for faculty, e-portfolios will become a staple. Institutional e-portfolios are also becoming more important because of the accreditation changes that's happening in the United States. They essentially are derived from teaching and learning portfolios. Institutional portfolios, they try to assess sort of the efficacy of the instruction that's being I guess that's going on in a particular program or a particular school. They usually include things like quantitative, qualitative measures of student performance. They also have things like learning outcomes, and they identified sort of particular standards, I guess, that's being implemented throughout the department or the institution. And it's also being used as an accountability tool for higher ed, because when accreditation happens, I guess they want to, these agencies want to know, okay, I want to see learning in the concrete. Can you show me, can you point to it, can you, tell me what students are learning, and can I see the evidence of that? And oftentimes if the institutions are not ready to demonstrate that, oftentimes that's their accreditation may be in jeopardy or so on. Just up the 99, CSU Sacramento, I think, has one of the nicer institutional portfolios. They prepared this, I can't remember when, but essentially they were getting ready for their WASC accreditation a few years ago, and they had to do this as a way to kind of meet that requirement. And it's very well done website. I mean, if you, it has their university mission, it has the planning process. They have like charts and just tons of stuff on this. And as accreditation agency or a member or anybody else who, as part of the university, want to know what's going on with the university, they can go to this e-portfolio. They can look for what they're looking, what they want, and they can find it. And I think I don't know if we're poised to do that here, but I think it's something that we want to work towards at UC Merced, is to be able to have an institutional portfolio that can showcase, the best of what we're doing here. So I mean, and then they have links to the accreditation. That's important to do, is to link it to the accreditation website, because they know you're paying attention. So no matter what tools, ePortfolio is just a tool. There are a lot of ways to do it, and I don't want to kind of go through all the different possibilities, but Kathleen Yancey, I would say, is considered one of the foremost, the most knowledgeable person in ePortfolio. She started working with this in the late 80s, and just right when it started, and she's been writing about this for over 10 years, and she talks about the idea that it doesn't matter the tool itself isn't the important part. Don't get fixated on the technology component, because that can take you down the rabbit's trail kind of thing. The more important thing is what you do with it. It's the process that goes into putting together the portfolio. And she says that it's the chance to collect, to select, and reflect. And I'm going to add one more word after that to kind of complete, I think, is the next necessary step. So the collection process. These are sort of practical considerations. Think about what you want. What's the purpose of this thing you want to do? Is this something you want to demonstrate for your teaching effectiveness, or is it, because you can technically be everybody. I guess the state of Minnesota, for example, the state legislature, I can't remember which unit, funded a statewide ePortfolio initiative where every single citizen of that state has access to an ePortfolio account, and they can become a lifelong learner. I mean, as long as they live in that state, I guess, as long as they're a resident, they can have access to this tool. And it's becoming, sort of a model for how other states are looking at them. Like, is this something that we can do? Because it really, the whole idea behind that particular initiative is to lifelong learning. They want to encourage everybody, even if you're out of school, even if you're 80-year-old, even if, it doesn't matter where you are in the stage of life, you can continue to grow and to learn, and there's a place where you can kind of document and keep track of things. Being selective and reflective about the materials you gather, and then organizing and just the digitizing. One of the nice benefit and side effects of ePortfolios, I've gone to I used to make a few thousand copies a semester of just handouts and papers and so on, and students would make a few thousand copies, and I've gone from thousands of copies per semester to almost, I would say, less than 100 pages of paper that I use. I'm almost in a green classroom, as green as I can get. I don't ever handle papers anymore. I used to get sick just handling student paper, because they would cough on it, and I'd know when I'm grading, and I'd get sick. And now I don't even, the only paper that exchanges between me and them, I hand out important deadlines and assignments, and I give that to them, but they never give anything. Everything is submitted online. It's digital, and so it's a nice side effect. I think I'm glad, because all I really need is my computer and the internet connection. I can access any student paper anytime I want, and grade anywhere I want. So selecting. So after you collect, it's about being choosy. You don't want to include everything. There are really bad examples of ePortfolios where you just dump everything. It's sort of the data dump, and you're just dumping whatever you have just to show that. I don't know if you've seen dossiers that, for job candidates, where it's this thick, because they just throw in everything and anything that they've ever done, and that's not the best way to. It's not a best practice in portfolio assembly. And so I think it's important to choose what you want to include, and include the things that are most important, and reflecting sort of the things you want. And the third step is the reflection. I would say the heart of portfolios, and ePortfolios in particular, it's the reflecting, it's the interaction, it's the engagement with the artifacts that you've included. That's really what is at the heart of most portfolios. It's great to include all these student evaluations, and that says how great you are and how effective you use technology, but it's better, I think, to take that and to say, how, as an instructor, are you engaging? Are you are you satisfied with that? Or are you going to tweak that a little bit? Are you going to do something different with it? And so it's that engagement with the artifacts is what I think is really important. And then finally, it's the projecting. This, I would say, is more connected with sort of the Web 2.0 trend that's happening. Having a web presence that's accurately reflecting who you are and what you are doing is, I think, very important. Nowadays, web presence, I don't know if you have your own Facebook and Twitter and, I mean, whatever, blogs and vlogs and so on. I mean, there are more and more ways to represent yourself online, and how you project that with the e-portfolio is also important, because once it is out there, you have to kind of be careful. If you want to project a serious, like if you're a serious student who is engaged in certain kind of research and you want to apply for something that's prestigious, and they don't want to sort of see little flash animations going around your e-portfolio, you probably want to be careful how you design it and so on. So all those things are kind of important considerations to keep in mind.